Hello friends, it's Mecha Broski here again. And when it comes to body modifications, I don't really have any problem with it. Not that it's my place to criticise what people want to do when it comes to their idea of outside beauty. If you want to get a tattoo, that's fine. If you want to get piercings or those big rings they get put in your earlobes, that's cool. Hey, if you want to get a chrome-plated dildo surgically affixed to the side of your forehead, go the fuck ahead, that's your prerogative. And in that same context, I don't necessarily think plastic surgery in concept is a bad thing either. Sure, I wouldn't personally do it myself, but as long as you're of age, have the money to do it, and you're willing to find someone who's worth their weight in salt, then that's up to you. Of course, we've all heard those horror stories of plastic surgeries gone wrong. Those stories where people have woken up in the middle of the surgery and genuinely felt a searing pain unlike anything they've ever felt before because half their face has literally been cut off. But in most cases, if it's something like, I don't know, a little lip job, I just want to get my lips looking nice, I just want my eyes to be a little bit cuter, maybe get a little bit more of an Asian look going on, I don't know, go the fuck ahead. Of course, if you have heard the horror stories of bad plastic surgery jobs, then let me add another one to that list, because recently on TikTok specifically, this dude named Dr. Kim has been absolutely blowing up for butchering people's faces, and it is genuinely one of the saddest things I think I've ever seen. This is definitely something that will stick with me for a long time. Do you remember that situation that was taking place months ago online where this lady was receiving criticism and mockery because she was posting pictures of her tattoo art that she'd done for people, which was legitimately stolen art most of the time, that she was hastily doing for like 50 to 100 bucks, and it ended up looking like complete shit? It's relatively similar to this case in some ways, mostly because the people that were criticizing were like, why aren't you just doing good art? And she'd respond, oh, because I'm only asking $50 for it and I'm literally doing this stuff in 30 minutes. The only difference is that, unlike that, where you could potentially go through the process of getting those tattoos removed with expensive and painful laser removal surgery, in this case, most of these people's faces have been munted for life. It is disgusting looking at some of these images and thinking to yourself, that person went from looking like a relatively normal, relatively nice-looking individual to whatever the fuck this is. In some cases, these people don't even look human anymore. They look like the kind of thing that someone just getting into drawing faces would do. A distinct lack of facial anatomy awareness, the kind of thing that looks like a video game character from the 90s, produced on old Silicon graphics computers, before people understood how to properly rig and model facial features outside of just printing a texture on a default model. This is awful to look at. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not here to question Dr. Kim's credentials. I'm sure he's most likely studied this. I'm sure he's most likely gone to a school in order to learn how to do this, because knowing how something works and being able to do it are two very different things. It's simply not something you're able to do simply by reading about it. You have to be able to work all of the machinery, you have to understand the fundamental concepts of this, so on a very basic level, I'm sure Dr. Kim has got some credentials. But I'm here to question exactly how long he's been doing this for, and I want to make it very clear that the fact that this guy has any credentials in the first place, the fact that he most likely went through a school or a training camp of some description in order to get his credentials to be able to legally do this, is absolutely horrendous to me, and I believe that he deserves to have his credentials removed ASAP. ASAP, like legitimately. And would you believe it if I said there are genuinely people trying to run defense for Dr. Kim? The kind of people that are saying, oh, well, you can't judge the work or you can't judge the result because this photo was taken, in some cases, as soon as the surgery was complete. And if you know anything about this topic, you'd know that it's not going to look good this early after the surgery. And my question to you is, if that's the case, why the fuck even post them? Because you know it'll give you bad publicity. You know most people who are going to see it don't know shit about plastic surgery, so why in the blue fuck would you choose to post this if this is not the end result? Wouldn't you wait? At this point, it's difficult to understand whether Dr. Kim is just rushing this content out in order to capitalize on whatever perceived success he believes he can achieve from this, or whether he genuinely knows that this is the end result and he either doesn't give a shit or genuinely thinks that this looks good. And none of those outcomes are good in any way, because when you really think about it, they're all equally as sad as each other. Not to mention the fact that there are genuine plastic surgeons who have actually taken a look at this content and hopped on the bandwagon after such criticism was laid on towards Dr. Kim and said that this work is dreadful. Most of them are completely dunking on it, and rightfully so, because I know for a fact that this is not how something should look even this soon after a plastic surgery job. You know for a fact that these people are absolutely not impressed with what they're seeing. Or hell, maybe they are. I can't speak for them personally. I can only speak for what I'm seeing on the screen, and these people do not look impressed in most cases. What's even worse is some of them were botched so badly that they're literally struggling to move their own face. I saw one where I can't show it here because I can't actually find it. I think Dr. Kim has removed his page. I genuinely couldn't find it when I was looking for it, but I saw one where a lady couldn't shut one of her eyes. You know how fucked that is? At the end of the day, this situation is just so sad because the majority of the people who are actually going for these facelifts don't even look that bad. It's genuinely, in some cases, a mental disorder, wanting to see yourself as a perfect version of what you aren't anymore. You can't look at yourself in the mirror and think to yourself, wow, I look good today. No, you have to think to yourself, what can I improve before I genuinely feel like I am what I should be? And it's very sad. Some of these people are older ladies, some of these people are like 60, 70 years old, who just want to feel a little bit more youthful than they do in the face. And a majority of them look totally fine. They look like completely normal, nice people. And then when Dr. Kim gets his dirty little fucking hands on them, they become bug, insect-looking motherfuckers. And it's a real shame. It is very sad when you think about it. It is genuinely horrifying. Somewhat melancholic, almost. The idea that some of these people will in the future look at what's happened to them and ask God, or whatever they pray to, or genuinely just wish they could have their old face back. That is horrifying to me. There's a certain level of horror to this whole situation, and it's very much the kind of thing that I hope doesn't happen again. But this is a billion-dollar industry. I mean, these people were probably lulled into a false sense of security. I mean, when you're doing something like this, you're giving your face up to someone else because you're willing to pay their bills in return for them fixing up some of your facial blemishes or something that you're not happy with. You expect to be treated and you expect to be in good hands with a person who's professional and has learned how to do this for years and years on end. And in this case, it genuinely doesn't seem like that is the case. It's very sad, to be completely fucking honest with you. I mean, you look at Dr. Kim, he's wearing his little doctor's uniform, he's probably got his certificate of plastic surgery occupancy or whatever on his wall sitting there. He gets you to lay back and puts you under, and then you wake up and you look like a bad drawing of a person. And you think to yourself, wow, well, I'm fucked now. I can't go get laser surgery to remove this. I'm not personally sure if you can have plastic surgery undone, but it's a sad situation, and I'm glad people are talking about it because, god damn. I mean, they took away this guy's lips.